Welcome back. We move on to sports news. Here's Ayotunde Balogun.
Many thanks, Ijoma. Well, the Super Falcons will feature at next year's 16-team Cyprus Women's Cup in Nicosia as part of their preparation for the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup. Now, the 9-time Africa Women's Champion will play in Group C alongside Austria, Belgium and Slovakia. Now, the tournament will kick off on February the 25th through till March the 7th, 2019, and it will be the first time Nigeria will be participating at the tournament. Jose Mourinho's relationship with Manchester United Football Club reached a point of irretrievable breakdown a long time ago, but the club finally served the divorce papers today as the world's biggest club sacked the game's most famous manager. Now, the decision comes as United laboured to their worst start for 28 years, playing rather dull defensive football, with Mourinho cutting an ever angrier figure after each setback. But Sunday's 3-1 defeat to Liverpool in the English Premier League was one humiliation too far. A Liverpool manager, Jurgen Klopp, says Jose Mourinho is an outstanding manager despite the Portuguese tactician being sacked by Manchester United. Klopp, though, heaped praise on the former Inter Milan, Chelsea, Porto and Real Madrid boss, who has won 20 major trophies throughout his managerial career. And that's a wrap on sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. U.S. President Donald Trump has backed down on his threat to shut down the government if the Democrats refuse to give him funding for the U.S.-Mexico border wall. The president was seeking $5 billion from Congress to begin work on the wall. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders told the news media that the government had identified other funding sources for the project. It's not immediately clear what those alternative sources are. Lawmakers have said that they are prepared only to grant $1.6 billion for border security, but that none of that money can be used for constructing a wall. Just before Mrs. Sanders' announcement, Mr. Schumer had tweeted at the president saying, "No temper tantrum is going to get you the wall." End of quote. Warring parties in Yemen have begun observing a ceasefire agreed in Sweden last week, despite a hiccup this morning. Now, fighting was reported for several hours from midnight, and by morning, locals said things were relatively calm. The country has been devastated by a conflict that escalated in early 2015. The ceasefire covering the city of Hauda and the ports have announced last week following talks in Sweden's capital, Stockholm, but it had to be delayed by several days because of fierce fighting. And the main news again. The former Chief of Defense Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, was shot dead by a gunman this evening. According to the Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, the former Air Force Chief died from gunshot wounds sustained when his vehicle was attacked while he was returning from his farm along the Abuja-Kefi Road. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Good night.